All right, hello YouTube. I'm going to be upgrading the ROG Ally's joysticks with some Hall effect joysticks here. If you guys want to follow along, you're going to need a couple tools here. You're going to need a driver with some driver bits. You're going to need a Phillips 0 or Phillips 1. I do recommend a Phillips 1. And then you're going to need a Phillips 00 bit to remove the joystick PCBs out of the ROG Ally. And you're going to need a pry tool to remove the back or the bottom of the enclosure here to get inside the unit. And I would recommend some tweezers so you can pull the ribbon cables out, or you can use the blue pull tabs, which I'll do a little bit here for the smaller ones to get it out of the joystick PCBs here. But I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a bit. The first thing I recommend you guys do is just go ahead and start from the bottom of this unit. And the first thing to make note of here is that the bottom screw does not come out. So you just have to loosen it up and that's it. And then once you loosen it up, I would recommend to start with the other bottom screws, which take a little bit to come out. But now I got this one on loose. Since it is spinning, I'm gonna go ahead and get these bottom left and bottom right ones out. So these ones are very long, so they'll take a little bit to unscrew. But once you have it all the way, you can literally just pull it out of the unit, which I'm gonna go ahead and do here. And then now I'm gonna do the bottom right one here. So the top ones are tricky, they just don't come out as nice as these bottom ones here. So you wanna go ahead and I would just recommend to unloosen them. In fact, looks like, yeah, unloosen them. And it's kind of hard to tell. And then if you're lucky, maybe you can use the bit to magnetically pull the actual screw out of the enclosure. Most of the time, at least for me, they just kind of stay there. But we'll see. Yeah, see, these are coming out much smoother here. All right. And let's see if we can pull this one out too. And probably not. Yeah, see, you see if you kind of, if I kind of move it a little back here, it's not coming out. So I'm just gonna go ahead and turn the unit over and just kind of like that. And then now the screw will come out and I can just pull it out of the unit here. So, all right guys, now we're gonna go ahead and remove the bottom of the enclosure. I recommend to start at the right where the Hall effect triggers are with a pry tool. So you kind of just wanna push the pry tool right here and then just kind of push and lift, push and lift. So push in, lift. And this will unhook the clips within the unit and then get it all loose for you. And then now you want to kind of go on the side here and then push and lift, push and lift. All right, and let's do the other side here. And there it is, okay. All right, so it's already out. So we're gonna go ahead and remove the back of the unit here. And then you can see the ROG Ally here in all its glory. The first thing you wanna go ahead and do is remove the actual, the power, the battery here. I have no nice way to do this. Maybe you guys can do it. Obviously, I don't want to pull from the cable, but I kind of have to, and it kind of just pulls right out there. At least for me, if you got the appropriate tools, maybe you can pull it out a different way. But now I'm going to go ahead and start from the left joystick, which obviously is on the right here. And we're going to remove the ribbon cables of this joystick here. So I'm going to zoom in for you guys. So what I would go ahead and do is get back that pry tool you used to remove the enclosure. And let me zoom in actually a bit more here so you guys can see a bit better here. But let's see, get a little bit more back here. All right, so as you can see, there are ribbon cables there. And that's the first thing you want to do is loosen these up. Now you want to go ahead and take your little tool here and you're going to move, just kind of lift up, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Just kind of lift up, and then once it's like that, you can just make sure it's already loose, and you just kind of want to loosen up the other ones here. So you're going to push from this direction And then do the same thing here for the other ones. The other one's got an EFI tape or sticker, if you will. And sometimes I just kind of like to use my hand to remove it there. There it is. And then you're going to take your pry tool and you're going to go in this direction. And then that one's loose as well. So you can see these blue pull tabs that I talked about, or you could use your tweezers to remove the actual ribbon cable itself. Let's see if I can get this removed right here. And that's one. And this small one, it's almost impossible with tweezers, so just use the blue pull tab, just kind of take it out. And then I'm going to use my tweezers here on this other one, and then we're just kind of pull it out there. There it is. All right, so now we got both the ribbon cables out. Next thing we're going to want to go ahead and do is get it unscrewed. So as you can see, there's these screws with these triangles or pointing towards them. You want to get them all removed out. These will take that Phillips 00 head to get these screws removed out where the triangles are pointed at. So go ahead and put that bit on your driver here. And then what you want to go ahead and do is just, go ahead and unscrew them out here, which I'll be doing here. All right, so once you get all the screws out of the where the triangles were pointed at, the best way to get this out of the PCB is to kind of lift the ROG Ally up and push from the joystick area. You just want to be mindful of these two areas here because that's kind of where it needs to come out of to get really loose. So you just kind of want to push the joystick up and then lift the PCB with your finger in this direction. So I'm going to go ahead and push and then just kind of lift the PCB up, and then it just comes right out there perfectly. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and remove the ROG Ally, and I'm going to get the PCB of the joystick here. And the first thing you guys want to go ahead and do is just remove the little kind of cap of the joystick, because you're going to be putting that in the Hall effect joystick there. And then after that, you guys want to remove the ribbon cable out first, or loosen up so you can then unscrew the joystick with no issues there. So I'm going to go ahead and get a little closer here. And it's just the same thing we did previously, guys. We're going to take our little tool here and we're going to go ahead and just push it in this direction here. So we're going to go ahead, let me get a little closer for you guys so you guys can see. I just want to make sure we can get this in its entirety, but we're going to go ahead and just lift up, as you can see. And then after that, it's now loose, so we can go ahead and unscrew the actual joystick itself. And then once we're done unscrewing the joystick, we can then just lift the joystick right out. All right, perfect. And then it just comes right out there, as you can see, very smoothly. And now we're gonna get the Hall effect joystick within the PCB. So what I would go ahead and do is you kind of, on this one, kind of want to lift it just a tiny bit up and then just kind of push it right in. So lift a bit up and then just push right in. As you can see, it goes right in there and then fits perfectly in. And then you want to go ahead and then obviously put this tab in the opposite direction here. And then before screwing in, you want to make sure it's in there snugly. So you kind of want to lift up and just a tiny bit, make sure it's in there. So let's go ahead and screw this back in. And then once we screw in, we'll go ahead and a cap here. So make sure to put the black screws in the joystick here. All right, so I now have it screwed back in, and you want to go ahead and then cap it. So don't forget about that. And then you kind of want to click and then just kind of move around here, wax on, wax off. And and we're gonna get it back into the unit here. So let me go ahead and get the units here. All right, and what I would recommend to do is just make sure you get the ribbon cables out of the way, and you kind of just want to go in at this angle and then get the smaller ribbon cable out of the way, and then you want to lift the unit up, and then it just should kind of fit right in there. And then again, you want to be mindful of these two spots. You kind of want to push in there, and then there it is. It's in the unit. So now we got to screw it in, and then we can get the ribbon cables back on here. So let's go ahead and get this screwed back in. You may want to kind of lift the ROG Ally up while screwing it in, so the PCB does not get pushed out. But once you have one screwed in, you can just get them all. You don't have to lift it up anymore. All right, and the last screw. And then, all right, and now it comes the fun part where we're gonna go ahead and do basically get the ribbon cables back into the PCB. What you wanna go ahead and do is you're gonna push this in till you can barely see the black line here. And then we're gonna do the opposite of what we did, and we're gonna push it in this direction to get it back down. And then we're gonna go ahead and do the smaller one. And again, we're gonna push it in till we barely see that black line. We're just gonna use that pull tab to just get it right in there. And then again, we're gonna push this down in the opposite direction here. I'm just gonna like so. And we're gonna do the bigger one here. And we probably wanna get both fingers here and kind of push down and then push in. And then now we gotta, if we can get this sticker out of the way here, we wanna go ahead and do the opposite, what we did last time, which is actually this direction here. So we're gonna then push down. There it is. And then as you can see, it's in there snugly. And then we can put the EFI tape back over here. All right, so now we can go ahead and do the right joystick, which is on the left-hand side here. And this right joystick here is a lot easier than the left joystick we just did there on the right-hand side. So again, the first thing we want to go ahead and do is get these tabs towards the pins here, lift it up. So we're gonna go ahead and get that first one and then just do that smaller second one. And we can either use the blue pull tabs like I had mentioned. I like to use the tweezer on the bigger one here, but you can still use that little tab there to get it out. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can lift this right out here. Wiggle it right out there. And then after that, I like to use my finger for the smaller one here and use that blue pull tab like I mentioned. Just kind of lift right out. And then after that, you want to get the unit unscrewed here. So again, let's go ahead and get this unscrewed. And then you'll see the tricky part here that is slightly different than the left joystick here on the right-hand side, is that you got to push the ribbon cable in once you get the PCB out a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and get this unscrewed. Again, you want to lift the ROG Ally unit up, and then I would push a little bit from the joystick. And then go ahead and lift in this direction here, lift up. And after that, here comes the part where you got to push that ribbon cable within that little hole. So you kind of just want to usually get stuck on that blue pull tab here. You just want to go ahead and push it in the hole and then pull the joystick PCB out. There it is. All right, so here it is here. Looks like the little joystick thingy came out here already, so that's all right. And we're gonna go ahead and get this get this joystick out here. Again, we're gonna start from releasing the ribbon cable here. And then after that, unscrewing the joystick out of the PCB. And then it should just come right out there. And then we're gonna go ahead and put in the Hall effect one. Again, you just wanna lift a little bit up and then you kinda just push in. So just a little bit up and then push in. As you see, it just goes in there perfectly. And then we're gonna go ahead and push the little tab down for the ribbon cable. And then we're gonna test to make sure it's kinda in there just by lifting up and just a tiny, just a little bit, make sure it is sealed there. And then we're gonna go ahead and screw it in the joystick here with the black screws. Perfect. And then we're gonna put that little cap back in till it clicks. There it is. And then I like to move it left to right there. Maybe click a little bit, but then now we're gonna go ahead and put it back into the unit. And then you wanna go ahead and get the joystick PCB back in here. So you wanna kind of lift the ROG Ally up and then try to hold that kind of ribbon cable here. And you kind of wanna first get the little joystick PCB in and then kind of hold that ribbon cable with like one finger here. And then just kind of, there you go. And then, boom. All right, it is easier said than done. And I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna have a wonderful time doing that here. But let's go ahead and get this back in. And then we'll get the ribbon cables back into the unit. And then we should be almost ready to go here. So let's go ahead and get this screwed back in, guys. All right, let's go ahead and put these ribbon cables back in. So I'm gonna start with the first one I took out here and see if I can push that back in. Perfect. And then we're gonna take our little tool here and then push it down. And then we're gonna take the little ribbon cable by the pull tab here and then push it in till obviously we don't see that, barely that black line there, and then push it down. Wonderful. So now we're gonna go ahead and plug the battery back in, guys. And just kind of push that right in there. Perfect. And now we just got to get the enclosure back onto the unit here. And then we should be home free. All right, so let's go ahead and get this back on. So I would go ahead and put it right there and then kind of lift up and then just kind of start clicking it around the unit. And you want to hold the unit up while you're clicking around because it'll make it a lot easier to clip it back in. But once you make about 2 passes here, we can go ahead and start to screw it on. So first screw I'm going to do is that bottom middle screw here. So let's go ahead and get that on. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and get the other screws hidden here. So I'm gonna do the bottommost screws here. And let's get these other screws in and then we will power on the unit. And then we'll be good to go. There it is. And that is it. It is fully powered on. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Feeling good. All right. All right, and just playing some quick high on life here just to make sure the joysticks are working here. But yeah, if you guys like the video, please like. If you guys want more, please subscribe. But you guys have a wonderful day out there and stay safe.